Hey, it's Alyssa, back with another video, and this week we're talking bells, bells, bells. In every Animal Crossing game, you've been able to shake trees for fruit and money bags, sell fossils, fish, shells, and bugs. There have even been money trees and money rocks from the very beginning, but there has always been a much more efficient way to make big bells ever since the Gamecube days. The stock market is how billionaires are made, and it's been a fixture of the series since the beginning. The basic gameplay of the stock market hasn't changed a whole lot after all these years. It works much like the real-life stock market. Buy low, sell high, or else you lose a bunch of money. You purchase turnips on Sundays before noon and cross your fingers that Tom Nook or his nephews are willing to buy them for a higher price before they spoil in a week's time. What has changed the most between games is just how difficult it's been to get rich from turnips, ranging from a huge pain in the neck to I just made 20 million bells in like 10 minutes. In Animal Crossing for the Gamecube, sometimes referred to as population growing, there was a stock market just like in New Horizons, though Sow Joan, get it, like Dow Jones stock market, Joan was the turnip seller, not her granddaughter Daisy May, and making a ton of bells was much more difficult. For starters, while prices of turnips would spike high, 8 times as high as your buying price to be exact, this would only happen on average once every other week. Sometimes you'd get lucky and get a big spike every single week for like 5 weeks in a row, but generally playing the stock market was a long-term play to profit more than you would lose on average over the span of a few months or a year, rather than the essentially guaranteed weekly mega money in New Horizons. Visiting other towns wasn't as easy as finding another player and just flying over either. You'd have to have 2 different memory cards physically placed into the same GameCube console to ride over on a train to visit, and realistically, unless you had friends that were really into Animal Crossing, or you had multiple memory cards in towns of your own, catching a price spike in your town or another person's town just wasn't an easy task. I myself never really devoted a whole lot of time to the stock market until New Horizons, so I never did get that coveted post office model you get from saving 999,999,999 bells, and I probably never would. Between other common ways of making money, from money rocks, glowy spots, fossils, and fishing, it would take an average player like myself nearly 17.5 years to hit that milestone. I'll leave that level of completionist achievement to the hardcore Animal Crossing gamers out there. Hardcore turnip traders would only need about 2 years to achieve that same milestone, so not nearly as grindy. In Wild World and City Folk, there were the standard classic white turnips for sale, but Joan also offered red turnip seeds. These seeds could be planted and watered, growing bigger and more valuable every day for up to 6 days of watering and care, taking care not to either overwater or underwater and neglect the turnip and watch it wilt. A player could buy 1 red turnip seed per week for 1,000 bells, and with proper watering, sell the fully grown red turnip for a 15,000 bell profit. Not too shabby, but not a real path to becoming a billionaire. The stock market got rid of the red turnips in New Leaf and was essentially the same white turnip buy low sell high gameplay as before, with Joan walking around selling her wares. New Leaf was when I got really into making bells, and for a little while I was using those online turnip price pattern calculator sites to help try and figure out when a spike would happen on my town. But in all honesty, grinding for beetles in New Leaf was the real good way to make money, so I didn't bother with the stock market beyond the first couple of attempts I made. In New Leaf, you could take a boat with Captain to Tortimer Island where it was always summertime. At night, all the giant high-value beetles would spawn on trees, so filling up an inventory with 6 figures worth of beetles was a pretty simple task, so this is more or less how I paid for everything in my town. New Horizons changed very little about the mechanics of the stock market, but a fresh new face started selling turnips. Daisy May is Joan's granddaughter and one of the cutest new additions to the series. She sells turnips much the same way as her grandma, before noon on Sundays, and you still have to sell those turnips within a week to avoid them going rotten. Between Animal Crossing Twitter accounts, Facebook groups, dedicated Animal Crossing apps, and dedicated turnip selling websites, Finding a quick 3, 4, 5, or 600% return or more on your investment has never been faster or easier. Unless you're a particularly forgetful or impatient player, or just don't have online capability, it's practically impossible to not get rich quick with the stock market in New Horizons. If you have all day to kill and want to make tons of bells easily, you could even just browse islands to buy turnips from at the lowest possible price, and then browse islands to sell at the highest possible price, and just rinse and repeat and do that all day long, and you would get a vault full of bells that would put Scrooge McDuck to shame. Now that the stock market makes earning bells just a little bit too easy, do you think that in future games or future updates the bell spikes will be reduced, or some other measure will be put in place to make obtaining hundreds of millions of bells just a little bit more difficult? Or will the Animal Crossing team just turn a blind eye and let everyone continue to become billionaires overnight? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and also let me know all the ways that you've become Animal Crossing rich in the comments, whether you did beetle farming like I did in New Leaf, or you love to fish, or you have some unorthodox way of getting your bells. Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special thank you to my Patreon supporters. If you would like to support the channel, get a little thank you at the end of my videos and exclusive content, it's only $5 a month at patreon.com/AlyssaAaron. You can also support me for free by subscribing to the channel or signing up for my monthly newsletter at alyssaaron.com/hi. It's running late this month. I try to do it a once a month thing because nobody likes spam. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace out.